Hello everyone, I'm DW and welcome to another episode of Orcs Must Die. Today we've been granted the Boom Barrel, and this is a pretty fantastic trap. I don't really use it all that often, or really at all, but we're not going to be using it in this level. There's a particular level that I like to use on, and we'll get to that when we get to that.
Another day, another fortress, another rift to defend. They always seem to break through the doors. We should do something about that.
We should do something about that. So like most other Act 1 levels, this serves as a tutorial for something. In this case, it's for environmental traps. Not like this acid, which we can't use as far as I'm aware, but like this acid vat and these chandeliers. Now I tend to forget to use the chandeliers, but I think I make a spectacular use of them in this video. Anyway, let's open our spellbook. So, I kind of flounder on what I want to use in this level, because usually I go with, your standard spike traps, tar traps, and arrow walls, and of course bring along the Alchemist Satchel. And it looks like that's what I'm going to do, but instead, you know what? You know what's fun to show off? How about the Shock Zapper? It's the only ceiling trap that we have access to right now, and really one of the only ceiling traps in the game. And it is pretty stupendous. So let's get that equipped. I'm very particular about the order in which things are in. And we're going to set down some tar right by where these acid vents are going to pour. You can tell where they're going to pour by the little indicator on the ground. We're going to get some arrow walls set up, and then we're going to hit G. So this first wave is nothing we haven't encountered yet, just a bunch of orcs. We're going to try to make use of these acid vats up here. Going to weaken them a bit with some headshots. And you can see here that you have to shoot the acid vat to activate it, and it will recharge fairly quickly, in we'll say about 5 or 6 seconds. I don't know the exact numbers. But unfortunately, it only really covers about a 1 square, maybe a little larger than a 1 square area. I'll talk about the Shock Zappers a bit later in the video, because for right now, we get to introduce to a brand new enemy type. These are the crossbow orcs, and they are probably the most annoying enemy in the game, or at least the most annoying standard enemy. They like to stop and shoot you right outside your kill box, and they will path in really bizarre ways. You can't see it on this level, but on other levels where you block off a certain area so that you'll get guys channeling down one area or into like a different area, they'll tend to sort of clump up and run back and forth, and it's really annoying. Also, the bolts they shoot, I swear these guys are psychic, because they tend to shoot where you're about to move. I don't know if it's hard-coded or if I'm just bad at dodging, but I tend to take way too much damage from these guys for really no particular reason. And these guys can kill you super quick if you're not careful. So this next wave coming up is a bit of a tough one. We're going to have a lot of orcs coming in, and our kill box is not really that great. So I'm going to try to use these acid vats to great effect, but I don't quite manage it. I hit that one a little too early. You can see our Shock Zapper here is out of charge, but it instantly gets a charge and then loses it. And you can see here I accidentally used the alternate on the crossbow, which is basically like an AoE stun and is absolutely fantastic. So we got our first break wave. Why don't we get more arrow walls? You can see here I messed up the alignment slightly, but that's alright. And why don't we get more Shock Zappers? So the way Shock Zappers work is they basically have 3 charges, and that will recharge over time. They say that the Shock Zappers are really good against flying enemies, but I find they're just really good just in general. So we're up here on this bridge, and you can see, like, maybe we can hit these guys with this chandelier. Maybe not. You know, like I said, I'm not very good with chandeliers. I don't really think they're, they can be really damaging. I think they kill just about anything in one hit. A lot of the environmental traps do. So we're going to start setting up some arrow walls on the other side, and I actually mess up here. What I like to do with arrow walls when they're on opposite walls is make it so that they're slightly offset from one another so that they don't trigger at the same time. Because when they trigger at the same time, you tend to waste your arrow wall, and if they're offset a little bit, you'll tend to be able to, you know, go through a larger group of enemies. It's not that big of a deal, especially in these early levels, but for later levels, it can really help you just decimate a wave.
Done and done. Orc,
So we're basically just going to fill this whole hallway with arrow walls eventually. I really wanted to use those acid vats more. Oh, and I tried to throw a alchemist bomb over the top of the bridge, but it didn't work. I wanted to use the acid vats a bit more, but with the way I have these shock zappers set up, I didn't really need to do that. Yeah, I can just stand back and let the shock zappers and the arrow walls just eat through this wave, and that's kind of what I end up doing here for a little bit. That sort of bites me in the ass in the end, because we come very close to the par time. But as long as we're underneath it, that's all that matters.
Oh yeah.
So you might have noticed the red potions that enemies drop. These obviously restore your health. They're the only item that will drop from regular enemies, and they have something like a ridiculously small percentage to do that. It's like something like 0.005%. Larger enemies will drop coins that will obviously give you more coins. I forget the exact amount. I think it actually might vary depending on level. So we're almost done with this last wave. With the kill box we have set up, it's pretty efficient. You know, I still come very close to the par time because I'm actually just not being active enough. I should be trying to get more headshots, trying to use the alchemist satchel a bit more. But there we go. You can of course tell by the dance that we got 5 skulls. See, there we go. Got a pretty pitiful score, but that's okay. Let's see here. We were just under the par time. We're about 30 seconds under, not as bad as I thought. Anyway, I've been DW, thanks for watching.